Hi everybody, I'm Rick Warren, the pastor of Saddleback Church in Lake Forest, California, and author of The Purpose-Driven Life. I want to welcome you to this study of what I found to be the most common problems that people face today. And this study is based on actually one of my books called God's Answers to Life's Difficult Questions. You know, as a pastor for over 30 years, I've heard thousands of people's stories, questions, and requests about problems, and I found that most of them center on the same 12 questions. They keep coming back to these basic issues. So what I've done is I pulled together a list of those 12 most common questions that people asked about life, and then I went to the Bible to see what God had to say about those issues. Now, in this video series together, we're going to look at God's answers to 6 of the most commonly asked questions of life. In this first session, we're going to look at the question, how can I cope with stress? You may have heard about the truck driver who was making his rounds delivering pets, and at every stoplight he'd get out of the truck and he'd take a 2x4 and start banging on the side of the truck. Now, the people watching had no idea what he's doing, and then he'd go get back in his car and our truck and drive to the next stoplight, and as soon as he stopped at the stoplight, he'd get out of his truck again and take the 2x4 and start hitting on the back of the truck. Now, he began doing this at every single stoplight all across the city. Finally, one of the guys who had been following him for 8 or 9 blocks at the next stoplight got out of his car and walked up to the truck driver and said, "What are you doing?" And the truck driver said, "Buddy, here's the situation. I got 2 tons of canaries in this truck, but it's only a 1-ton truck, so I've got to keep half of them in the air all the time." Have you ever felt like that? Like that truck driver? You are so overloaded. You have to just keep banging on the side of your truck just to keep everything from landing on you and coming down all at once. Jesus summarized the secret of stress management in Matthew chapter 11. Verses 28 to 30, he says this, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened," that means stressed out, "and I will give you rest." Jesus said, "Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I'm gentle and humble in heart. And," here's the result, "you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Now think about that. Jesus says 3 things. He says, come, take, and learn. Come, take, and learn. These are the 3 keys to stress management 2,000 years later after Jesus said it. They still work today. If you're stressed out, the first thing you have to do is come to Jesus. "Come to me, all you who are weary, all those of you who are tired, exhausted, heavy burdened, stressed out, at the end of your rope, and I will give you rest."